because of his stats. We're gonna go in.
Oh my god! Oh my god! They're wrapping legs back here.
And go. This is the last time I'll be on the podcast, everybody. Just want to make sure.
SFJ 4x4 Studios presents
in my oversized four-wheel drive Jeep.
a Jeep podcast starring industry experts.
Pure monosity.
What? Say that again. With mad scientist Scott Brown.
Use my drill press as a sort of lathe.
Our host, Neil Simpson.
If one light goes out, they all go out.
Filled with shenanigans.
We are really professional with Jeeps.
This is I Speak Jeep.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however you are joining us. This is the I Speak Jeep podcast presented by SFJ4x4.com. It is episode 78.
That's right.
78, as long as the production notes are appropriate, Jeffrey. I wasn't sure.
I can't guarantee it, but they are.
I wasn't exactly sure if they would be updated because
it's Jeff's fault.
we obviously had a big weekend recently. If you are listening to us in your ear holes on your commute, mowing the lawn, whatever it might be, we appreciate you being part of this. And who knows what time you're listening to us, but if you're on the live 10:19 a.m. on the Monday, this is the Monday immediately following Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival 2023, one of the largest shows in the country for Jeep-specific enthusiasts. And Jeffrey and I are here dressed in our best attire. My shirt may or may not be clean from the weekend.
Yeah, Jeff's
Might not
already
have had a
injured
chance.
his, I see.
And well, yeah, I had to talk to Davey. We got some liftage. We got some liftage on our graphics. If you are listening to us, we did intentionally wear tuxedo T-shirts.
We did.
For working the booth, and we had talked about doing the finer thing. So if you were not on our social media, we definitely had charcuterie boards, charcuterie.
Yeah, that was the important one.
Yes, important. We had fresh bagels. Didn't have salmon. That would have been,
But don't worry,
capers and salmon.
all of these things that you're talking about, just because we want to keep it as classy as the T-shirt tux, all came from Walmart before we got kicked out.
Of course.
Did
you have Grey Poupon, though?
There was no Grey Poupon.
Missed the mark.
It was originally, and I have no qualm saying that those of you who have been following along know that I bought a limousine. The intention was to play off of that a little bit, and it would have been nice to have the limo there on display.
But it's
somewhat.
It's a Simpson vehicle.
Yeah, I mean,
Could have off-roaded it, actually.
yeah, right. We could have beat the tarnation out.
There
of
was
it.
a couple people that said they really wanted to see the limo there lifted.
Yes.
Just
yeah,
putting it out
just
there.
put it out. Oh, just putting it out there. Yeah, we'll put that on a J10 chassis here. In a heartbeat.
In 3 years.
Well, I want to bag that thing. I want to bag it. But anyway, so the idea, and if you would have heard our announcement over the PA system, it was talking about going to see the fly guys in the bow ties. So I made sure to write up a fun little kitschy thing that played off that, and we appreciate all of our customers who came by and listeners. If you're one of those people, you have to know we sincerely appreciate your support, the questions you ask, the interest. I was tickled to meet so many people, and the idea that that you're listening and supporting, and that we can be an important part of your Jeep experience means so much to us. And so we're thankful that you're part of the Simpson family, and that you came and expressed that at the show. So excellent time for that.
The amount of people that came through, we had truck drivers that were saying they were listening to us on the road. They never actually seen us in person. There was people working in factories that just listened to us. It was really intense and exciting to meet all these listeners and hear how the podcast, or what the podcast meant to them.
That's awesome.
It was really neat. We had people requesting your presence.
Yes.
But we had a stand-in, and so if you're listening to us lingering right now off mic, but on screen, right, which is probably the best thing for him.
Face for radio.
Right. Is the owner of #NotARestoration, and which we should say the Jeep formerly known as #NotARestoration, right?
Yeah, we're taking voting for to name the Green Beast. So
Oh, we are.
Yeah, we're tossing around some ideas. We're trying to figure out what what's going to stick.
The
So
Jeep's got to tell us what it wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it had a name, but
well, I was leading with that as my first initial slot, but certainly open to other opportunities for naming.
Okay. Well, there was that, and then you recently, because the bug has bitten your family so severely, you did pick up
multi-Jeep
you now
household.
became a multi-Jeep family.
Yeah, we're thruplets now. We've got a Cherokee L that my wife drives.
Right.
We've got Not a Restoration, which affectionately 78th episode, 1978 restoration.
Oh!
I know why you guys invited me back now, which I'm pretty excited about. Which it looks like
We
you guys
missed
just-
it.
you guys
Completely
just put
missed
it
that.
together.
That's kismet. Your
It's-
wife used the word kismet over the weekend, which is
Describes our
interesting.
relationship.
Well, ours, like me and you.
Our
That's-
relationship.
which is funny because I was not familiar with that word, despite the fact that my mom is like a grammar, queen. My wife actually used that word, so it was like this weird trigger experience when she was talking about kismet with you guys. That my wife had actually used the word kismet to describe my wife.
I've never
and
heard
I
that
as
word
well.
before in my
Kismet?
entire life.
Isn't it the green frog?
I have no idea.
That.
Kermit.
yes, that's Kermit. That's Kermit. Thank you, Captain.
We probably should do our introductions real quick.
Hey, Jeff, who are you?
Yeah, hey, who are you?
So
in that
I'm-
sweet bow tie over there.
Jeff, the Italian Stallion producer, and then who are you?
Mad Scientist Doc Brown.
Yes. And it was I'm Neil.
There you go.
Simpson family. That's right. That's my crooning voice. And this gentleman seated to my left.
I'm Ryan,
On
the
your
customer that
lap.
just won't go away.
Ryan and I are cuddling at the moment.
So what they can't see.
If for those who can't see and you are listening
Neil's
to us,
regretting the table size he
I
requested.
requested this studio setup at the change of the seasons between, kind of that little winter break. And at this point in time, I am the big spoon and Ryan is the little spoon.
This is my last attempt at attending the podcast.
Well, until we get a better studio again.
Savage comes in and he's framing us with the camera and he's like, you two have to get closer. There's too much space back here. There's
Yeah.
too much dead space.
They got really close for a minute.
It's 'cause we don't
it
have a
got
banner in the
uncomfortable for me and
background.
Scott over here.
We don't have a banner in the background. That's part of the issue.
Fail.
And so I think he was trying to hide that.
Oh.
Because we took that backdrop and it's actually, if you are unaware, that is actually the backdrop of the podcast studio is actually the official backdrop of our tent.
Correct.
So if you would see one, you'll see the other.
Yeah.
And I guess it didn't get put up this morning. Hasn't gotten unpacked from the trailer. We got in right before the rain.
Davey was rushing around this morning trying to get things put together, and I think
what?
it just missed.
I was so thankful for him because I came in the big rig and he drove in my wife's JL with all the product and whatnot, and then we were able to get the topless Jeeps unloaded. And as we were unstrapping the last Jeep, getting it off the trailer, he was spotting me off. We started to sprinkle just a little bit. So
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to my wife for that too, because I got back with the camper and she literally had the garage door open with my doors and top ready and just started bringing stuff out. I parked on the road. We threw the Jeep back together, and then it started pouring as we backed the camper in.
no, that's excellent.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
the
it was
timing
like we knew
perfect.
what we were doing.
I
Finally,
thought
yeah.
of you as I was driving my roofed vehicle.
Did not get wet inside the Jeep
Why-
at all. It was
Why
amazing.
don't you own a Cherokee?
They all rust away at this point.
I know.
That's fair.
I know.
So,
That's fair.
quick shout out on comments. Chip saying morning SFJ.
Morning,
Morning,
Chip.
Chip.
Darla said good morning, guys.
Morning,
Morning.
Darla.
Mandy Joseph says hi.
Hey, Mandy.
Joe Brilla, you need to jam more people in there.
At
Joe,
least 3
Joe,
more.
we've got room. We are coming back both live at our Monday normal airing on Facebook, but also into your ear holes for all of our dedicated download listeners after a massive power outage wiped out the entire town last week. So
Yeah.
here's our big pivot, and we have a great episode for you. We're fortunate that that the owner of #NotARestoration is able to join us again.
Rejoin.
Rejoin
I
us.
actually never left. I don't know if you guys saw me in the corner. I just posted up over there for a while.
Slept in the corner.
Just slept in the corner.
We have a lot
After we
of.
sat in the corner in the dark for a while last week.
We awkwardly sat in the corner. If you didn't see a picture of that, you would definitely want to go
Yeah.
over to our Facebook. the Savage caught a funny photo and posted up on our social. So just
we're trying to give it time.
We wanted to be here for you, our listeners. We did not want to lose that time in our schedule. People oftentimes ask me about our podcast and how we run the operation that we do, and we both have the I Speak Jeep podcast and the American Hustle podcast, and it's all about time blocking. And unfortunately, that was our time Monday. Since we weren't able to do it, we weren't able to squeeze it in elsewhere. So we're bringing it to you live, and obviously recorded again today. With that said, my name is Neil. Who are you?
I'm Jeff, the producer.
Are you sure?
Nope.
Okay. Mad scientist Scott Brown. And who are you?
Loyal customer Ryan Simons.
All right.
Customer, friend, fellowship, individual.
Enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
I've graduated.
He's got the Jeep bug.
From hobbyist.
From hobbyist, yes.
As Scott would put it, he has the Jeep rash now.
He
Yes.
does. The Jeep rash.
There's no white man.
Contagious.
That's my
It's
second-
so weird
my
when
second rash.
Scott says stuff like that.
It's so I mean it innocently.
Everything you do, you mean innocently. Yes.
So far this morning, Darla said good morning, and Amy, your wife, said good morning.
Good morning, honey.
Good morning,
Darla.
Amy and Darla.
Good morning, Amy and Darla.
We actually had some Patreon activity this weekend, and so we want to thank folks who are active on that. And as a reminder, you too can become a Patreon. There is special content available on the Patreon site. And then at the appropriate tiers, you get access to a fun inside Discord conversation where there's people closely associated with the business, oftentimes in there talking about their weekend projects and other fun Jeep, automotive, and life-related activities.
And you might get an update or two on projects and that kind of stuff.
Well, and honestly, what was really fun was that during that power outage, Davey pulled out his phone and he did a little recording, and he actually loaded that onto Patreon. So if you were a Patreon member, you got to see that footage, and that was a fun little inside look as to what was happening with the power out. And with that being said, Joe's on here commenting. Joe Brella says, I find it highly amusing that your power went out last week just as Jeff began reading my comment. Apparently my Jeep's power draw issue is contagious. Yes, Joe, it is.
Yes, Joe, your Jeep is a rash, as Scott would say.
Yes, it's in quarantine.
It's in quarantine.
And then Dale said good morning as well.
Good morning, Dale.
So there are so many good things happening that is important to note, but I want to take, there's so many things, and we're going to do some shout outs and whatnot again as we address those patrons and people who joined recently. I know we had a new one over the weekend. Selena, thank you for supporting us in that process. I am eating the best coffee cake of my whole entire life.
Oh, it's so good.
My sister, who used to run the front end of the business while we were doing the podcast, she's now off on other adventures, but she made me a coffee cake because obviously, if you're not familiar, there's a huge debacle around the traditional kerfuffle.
Good usage of the word.
Yeah, I try.
Oh, yeah. Where I was given not a coffee cake, and they just lied right to my face.
Oh,
but it was like this sweet little old
grandma.
lady.
But it was
his grandma.
It wasn't just once.
No.
Multiple times.
Multiple times I was let down.
Yes.
We have had customers bring us baked goods, and so we appreciate that as well.
We love
always.
it. So
we
please
love
continue.
Yes, the fastest way to our heart is through our stomachs. But my sister, thank you for this spectacular coffee cake, which I am enjoying on air. Let's be honest.
I fully believe it was for my birthday, not for you, because
That's
it came
fine.
in on my birthday.
That's true.
Is today your birthday?
Friday was.
Oh, okay.
It was. Yes, it was. And we have a lot going on. So our updates. Obviously, Happy Father's Day has just passed. So
yes.
Everyone's seated here, which was a big deal for all of us. We take very, very important our role as father figures. So those of you who are out there who are fathers or acting as fathers in your roles, Happy Father's Day to you. My wife actually wrote in a card for me. It was the first time in 20 years. So shout out to her.
Wow.
She always gets me really sweet cards, but then it's I didn't get a chance to write in it just yet. And and he hands it over.
It just says Neil.
Yes. Yes. But my son was super, super jazzed up. My daughter gave me beautiful, sweet, authentic, really nice things with lots of hearts and I love you stuff. My son made sure to get me the card, which I think is super appropriate for the shop here. Oh, please don't cry. It's Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Oh, please don't cry because you're getting older. cry because others are stupid, and it makes you sad. Now go enjoy your birthday, which he crosses out and writes in Father's Day.
More appropriate
from
Father's
Leo to Dad.
That's awesome.
Was-
Awesome.
He took a birthday card and he was like, I have got just the most 10-year-old humor
That's
you could
hysterical.
possibly imagine, right? So I had a spectacular Father's Day.
I
in
was
that
traumatized
regard.
by your wife's post, by the way.
If you are on my social, you can go over and see me in my undies.
Yes.
Oh boy.
My wife asked if I needed that to happen. I said negative. Please do not do that to me.
Can't unsee that,
Yes.
unfortunately.
You really can't because it's right there for you all to
3
see.
times.
Ah.
She got multiple angles.
Oh yeah, you could see all of that business.
I feel like he was probably just modeling at that point, going, "Here, take this picture. Here,
The
take that
Hanes,
picture."
Hanes sponsorship.
Right.
Hashtag
If
not
this Jeep
sponsored.
thing don't work out, he's in good shape.
I'm in good shape, man. I looked at that. I was like, "Ooh, look at those legs." I had no idea she was posting those pictures. And
Uh-huh.
she was like,
Yeah, sure.
That's what I would say too if I was posting in my underwear.
she was like, "Do you want me to take them down?" I was like, "I don't care. If you make you
Yeah.
happy, then that's good."
Hell no, I'm trending.
Did you see how good I look? I was like, zoom in.
My
I can
man's
see
viral.
everything. I recommend, and that's great underwear if you want to know. I'm not not sponsored, but I'll tell you about those undies any day of the week. So super freshy fresh.
This is, I think, the point where Chuck would normally chime in something about girth, but we're just not going to go into that.
Oh, it was
now.
very girthy. The pictures are there.
Yeah.
She had some friends side texting and whatnot. It was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Anywho, how was your guys' Father's Day?
It was great.
You were not in your underwear
I was
on
not.
Facebook?
I was not. My wife sadly had to open on Father's Day, but we made the best of it and spent some time with the kids and did some Rambler driving. And then when wife got home, simply shoved everybody in the Jeep and went and got a new toy for the shop, and that was fun.
Yeah, where did you get that from?
From Corey, PA.
Okay.
So it's when you look at the map, you're like, oh, it's not that far, and then you drive there, and you're like, yeah,
This far away.
yeah, it's an inch.
Yeah.
Why is this taking an hour and 15?
As you're driving towards New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can certainly see the blue on the mountains. And
Next
stuff.
stop, Syracuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Nice.
was good. Lots of purple strap usage happened. Winching happened. Improperly using old
Why?
old signs
Why?
and license plates to drag it because it weighs 905.
What? That brake?
Yeah.
That metal brake?
It's a shear.
It's a shear.
It's almost 1,000 pounds. I wasn't ready.
Wow.
It would hit boom onto the trailer. I was like, okay, just like keep pressing the button.
Huh.
And the guy
Wow.
I
kept
saw
saying-
the picture.
This guy's like,
Your wife is correcting you. 936 pounds.
there you go.
Of course.
Very specific.
It's very, very,
Yeah, that's
very close to 1,000 pounds.
Yes.
But
Don't let the
Closer-
facts get in the way
Closer,
of a good
closer to
story.
900, honestly, but whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say if we were playing.
Scott
Price
always
is
rounds
Right.
up.
36 inches to Scott is 4 feet.
Easy, Kelly. Just for Jeff, this is a 37-inch brake
Oh boy.
or shear.
So it's more than 3 feet.
Yep, and I promptly tore it apart last night.
Oh.
Of course. Of course.
It is I have two ways of getting tools. They're either China or from 1800s. So this is
There's no in between.
There's no in between. This is a newer one, so this is a China, and they welded the stomping pedal part crooked, and everybody up to this point, because this is a third used shear, gone from shop to shop to shop,
Sure.
has just dealt with it, and I can't do that. So
It's been thrice adopted.
I'm fixing it.
Okay. Okay. That's
Alrighty.
excellent. And was this a Facebook Marketplace purchase or
Of course
acquaintance
it
of
was.
acquaintance?
It's
Okay.
the only reason why I use Facebook anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I saw an abbreviation. It's FBMP. I didn't realize that the cool kids were abbreviating things to FBMP.
So many acronyms.
Yeah, right. Makes my
Facebook
head hurt.
Marketplace. And so you just do it's an FBMP purchase, and apparently that's a thing now. Or I'm only on social for FBMP.
So one of the things, since we're on the subject today, was really opened my eyes to it. That is an almost $4,000 tool new. I wasn't ready
No.
And
for that specific tool. So go to China, open up your McMaster or whatever supply company, that is a $35,000 to $4,000 shear.
Well, congratulations. Which I
And,
know you did not spend that money.
No,
so
God no.
Way to be a savvy shopper.
I played the game, and they originally asked $1,000,
Okay.
and then it came down to $650, and I was like, "So what are you gonna take?"
Sure.
And they let me know they were moving.
Nice.
Oh no.
Oh,
Nice.
so it just got all the buying power.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I got it for half.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So-
Excellent.
And then
very
Linda's
cool.
in the comments saying 1800 tools are legit.
They are.
Yes.
They are legit. They just they were built to last.
Yes.
Our forefathers will be proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ryan, how was your Father's Day?
I had an awesome weekend. We, those of you who don't know, I'm from Kirtland, so we had our huge strawberry festival this weekend. So tons of activity, parade
Didn't
on
know
Friday
that was
night.
a thing.
It's a huge thing, big
It-
deal.
It was on Facebook groups, or not groups.
I think it's FB groups. Is what you
FB
FB
groups.
groups.
FB groups. What the cool kids are
The
calling
events.
these
It was
days.
in the events.
The
I
events.
saw it.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
we did.
How do you know where Kirtland's at? It's in that
It's
space.
basically Lower Mentor.
It's west of us.
Lower Mentor.
It's,
Okay.
It's an upchurch manor.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
It's exactly 52 miles from here, by the way.
Oh, wow. Then you're close. You're one
Very
of our
close.
locals.
Very close. So we towed the T-ball team and our first grade baseball team in the parade Friday night.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
We hung out Saturday, Sunday, tore down the Strawberry Festival. I volunteered in the Kiwanis program in Kirtland, so
Excellent.
I spent some time doing that on Saturday. About 3.5 hours, probably an hour and a half longer than I anticipated.
Sure.
Um,
Always.
Had some breakfast with friends in the morning.
With
and then,
strawberries.
We did have a strawberry sundae, as a matter of fact.
Man, I could
Right
go
to
for
the-
some strawberries.
Right to my hips, but it was delicious.
Strawberries
awesome.
and coffee cake?
Oh, 100%. And then Sunday afternoon, we hung out with the same friends we had breakfast with. They just couldn't get rid of us for a pool party.
That's
And I
awesome.
think I might have tore my labrum swinging wiffle ball. I did crush one.
Home run.
Grand slam.
Well, then it's worth
Had
it.
I been fast enough to get around the,
Then it's
had I
worth
been
it.
fast enough to get around all the bases, but it was awesome, fantastic weekend.
So
Check
cool.
us out.
So cool. And you have a shout out here.
I do. My son this morning, when I told him I was headed out to the Jeep shop, he set 2 bottles of water out for me before I left and said, "Hey, Dad, I know you're headed to the shop." And he dropped a little message this morning and said, "To Dad, tell the guys at the shop I said hi, okay?" Question mark. So I wanted to make sure, Hunter,
That's cool.
I relayed your message, and the guys really, really appreciate it
We
this morning.
do. We
So
appreciate that.
and for
Absolutely.
Father's Day, he wrapped up what I believe to
A
be an
brick.
8-inch duck that he got from Bantam.
Oh.
So it was this ball of paper and 40 feet of tape, and he said, I wrapped it myself. And I'm like, oh,
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Recognize.
wow, my mom did this one.
Yeah.
So I opened it, and it was that big green Jeep one he was carrying out all weekend.
That's
at
awesome.
Bantam. So
That's
yeah, it was
awesome.
pretty
Good for
really
him.
awesome. Really awesome Father's Day weekend.
That's awesome. Jeffrey,
So
you got hustled this week, and I know that from a previous
did.
story.
Yeah. So we pretty much did a relaxing weekend. Friday was my birthday, and then Father's Day, so
Nice.
we just did a nice long relaxing
Sure.
weekend. Did some movies. My wife actually let the kids help pick out a cake. We always do ice cream cake for my birthday.
Oh yeah,
So this year they got a Reese's ice cream cake.
Oh.
Oh man, was that good!
came with diabetes.
It
Yes.
did. It
and
did.
an insulin shot.
It was very good.
Teeth hurt just thinking about it.
And then Sunday, I got an ad for fireworks, and everyone that knows me knows that once a year I do a big fireworks show.
You like to blow things up.
Yes.
That's why he's gainfully employed here. 4x4.
Yeah.
So I got that coupon. I'm like, oh, that's really coming up. That's like two Saturdays away. I better do something. So we made a trip all the way out to Northeast PA, basically the New York border there, to purchase fireworks. And during that process, Kristen was able to actually join me for once. We stopped by my aunt and uncle's where we're going to be doing the fireworks at, and the kids all wanted to stay there, so we left them. We drove out, went to the fireworks shop, spent more money than intended because I got hustled and I fell for it. And afterwards, my wife was happy. Like, she even said, "Well, at least we got more fireworks than what you had planned on." And I went, and that is why that works.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any plans to
we
get the
talked-
kids back? Or are they
and
still
we-
there?
And they stayed there.
Well.
We'll get in a week or
4th
two.
of July is only a couple weeks away. We'll just go get them.
They
back.
wanted to stay.
Yeah.
Right?
It was funny because we drive past my parents' house to do this because we take the back way, and we drove past my parents' house on the way there. My dad's truck wasn't there, drove past my grandfather's house. I saw his truck there as we were already past it. I'm like, oh, we'll have to stop if he's there on the way back. There wasn't, so we stopped at my parents' house. And my dad's like, oh, where are your kids at? I'm like, well, they were in the back. Where'd they go? Because I had the doors
They're
off
at the fireworks
Jeep.
shop still.
They fell
So-
out of the Jeep.
Yeah.
They're running behind. Chevy Chase style from
Yeah.
National Lampoon's Vacation, right?
But needless to say, I filled up the bed of the truck with fireworks, and we're gonna have a great show again this year, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Excellent.
I have to be extra cautious because last year we did have one actually explode in the tube on us.
Oh boy.
A little bit of a close call. So anyone that's going to be doing fireworks, make sure that you're doing it safely, having the right provisions there. That's just a quick PSA on that.
We used to get snakes and sparklers in my house.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
little the ones that explode when you touch the ground. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm
We're
using the
good
full
there.
mortars and the tubes that launch up
No,
300
no.
feet in the air. So
Sparklers and little smoke bombs. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Nobody's losing fingers at the Simpson household this
No.
week.
well, so I actually, for that reason, I literally we do this around a big pond. The pond's about 500 feet wide, so if a firework did tip over and shoot across, it's not going to hit the people where they're watching from.
Mm-hmm.
That's myself and one other guy that lights the fireworks, and we set up the fireworks ahead of time with fuses and everything.
Yeah.
And we block that area off. Nobody's around that area during the event.
Sure.
And then at dark, usually like 9:30 or so. is when we-
Good public safety event. Right
Well,
there.
and ultimately, it's always valuable for us to say that Jeffrey has quite the decorated experience in the fire department, and the individual who will be assisting him or working with him also is a professional pyrotechnic at one time in his
Correct.
life. So these are not Joe Blow out there trying to take their fingers off.
No. No.
So and you're not, if you're listening, Jeffrey's event is a private, right? It's not for a city or anything like that.
Correct.
So unfortunately, we're not going to disclose much more than that. But there are a lot of really cool events you can come to. And on that note, we ourselves will be having the 4th of July parade here in Conneaut, where we welcome all participants to be part of it. That'll be Saturday, July 1st. It's about 2 weeks away. We'll be gathering here at the shop a little after 4 before we head to stage in line, bring candy, and make people happy with our Jeeps. The fireworks for that event will actually be on July 4th, I believe. So no fireworks that night, but I'm certain that you could get with a group of other Jeepers and go find somebody somewhere who's shooting off fireworks on that Saturday.
No fireworks, but a bunch of witty banter.
No
doubt. No doubt about it.
Additionally, this coming weekend, an event that I'd like to make sure that we talk about is the Tool City Jeep Jam, taking place in Western Pennsylvania, specifically kind of headquartered out of Meadville to Sagertown-ish area. And that is a very cool event. You can find more information on their Facebook page. It's going to be kind of like a road rally or a poker game, a poker rally. Why can't I think of what that's called?
Poker run?
Poker run, thank you, which we've hosted before ourselves. And so the organizer is a wonderful woman named Diana. She's working very diligently to make sure that everybody has a good time and supports some really valuable causes. So you want to head over. All their information is good on their Facebook page. Get in touch there, and it's going to be a great experience running all over Crawford County for the Tool City Jeep Jam. So check that out this coming weekend. If you've held on long enough for us, folks, we are actually going to be talking about Bantam, which happened a week ago. That's what we were trying to talk about last week as well. It's also why it's kind of critically important that Ryan is joining us, because his Jeep was there on display in our booth.
And it was his
downtown.
first time attending.
Yeah,
Bantam.
And his
First
first
time
time attending. I
attending.
can't wait to hear what that first time impression was. Because, of course, if you're familiar with us, and I had to it was kind of funny to kind of own it, but we have been doing this event. I've personally been doing this event for 11 years. And we are 10-year sponsors of the event itself. So to say that we're wholly involved, we are here to support one of the largest shows, certainly in this region of the country. And so we want to really benefit the Jeep community by standing behind such a large-scale event. Additionally, I believe we were going to be playing a little bit of the board game Jeffrey had created previously. So we've got some cool things underway for you for our show today. Lastly, I am working through our schedule of events, ones that we will be attending, ones that are happening. So if there's something that you think is valuable for us to be aware of, we can't sponsor every event, but we can get it listed on our website. We can talk about it on our social front. And if it is possible that we have a good listener, a community supporter, somebody, a trail team member, or one of our Patreons, they could be attending that event, getting pictures and doling out stickers and that kind of stuff. We're happy to support how we can. So if you do have something coming up this summer that you are aware of and you want us to know about it, feel free to send that via Facebook Messenger or head over and email Jeff, our producer, at jeffc@sfj4x4.com. So what did you think about Bantam?
Real quick, there's a couple comments I wanted to catch up on. So Joe Brilla had commented on your swinging wiffle ball statement. He said that sounds like a euphemism. And then
of course he did.
Yep. And then Joe Harper is saying hello from I don't even know what city, Ohio, headed to Hollerwood Park in Kentucky.
Hey, Joe.
Maybe you could pronounce
I
that.
can't. I don't know.
It's called Cleveland, Jeff.
No. I think he's south of there.
Wapakoneta.
Wapakoneta.
Yeah, that.
Did you really? Is that really what it is?
Yep.
I don't have my glasses on.
I can't read it either, but I'm pretty sure it's Wapakoneta.
Yes. That would make sense based on the spelling. I would not have been able to pronounce
lyrical
it.
gangster.
Yeah. Making that
spare
English
time-
teacher proud.
In my spare time, they call me Ferdinand Magellan.
No.
I've never said that.
Nobody's ever said that.
And Chuck is saying thanks for the swag, guys.
Absolutely, yeah. It was really nice seeing some of our Patreons get some of their care packages and reach out because of that. So very cool time to be, to be a listener and a supporter and part of the SFJ 4x4 difference.
And a fun fact from Dale, Neil Armstrong's hometown was that whatever,
Wapakoneta.
Ohio.
Wapakoneta, yeah. It's one of those names that it's like 84 Pennsylvania. It's like one of those things like you just, you're known for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So, is there any more comments?
Not yet.
All right. What was your impression of the event? Let's give us a rundown of what you did.
Yeah, we came up on Friday afternoon. You guys had departed Wednesday-ish or Thursday-ish. So
Yeah,
you guys were already set up. My wife, my son, and I motored over in the JK. We took back roads all the way in, which was a fantastic ride in and of itself.
Oh, that's cool. Hold on a second.
Yep.
I want to set the stage. Jeffrey, do you have your soundbite queued up?
I do.
I want our listeners to hear the soundbite, and then we'll let the suspense build.
Yeah.
We'll let this. So we have a soundbite. Not you, Ryan.
Oh, thank God.
Not you.
I say some crazy stuff.
No. We may have some of those recordings too, but that's not what we're doing.
Right.
Guaranteed.
We have a soundbite from the event. We're going to play for you. We just want it to soak in, and then we'll revisit
The
it
essence.
as Ryan, regales us with his experience, and then we'll share ours.
Yes.
That Thursday, we were basically starting over what we did on
What?
Tuesdays.
What are you doing?
I know.
What
it's following
is
me.
this?
Oh no.
What?
All right, that actually happened at Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival 2023, and so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. It has nothing to do with Ryan.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So the question is, do we want to have listeners try to guess what that is over the course of the next week and announce the winner next week, or do we want to just reveal it at the end of the episode?
Jeffrey's ruthless.
Great question.
Why is Jeffrey worthless?
Ruthless.
Oh, ruthless. I was like, why did you go
in worthless?
Why is he worthless?
What's your
Stop projecting.
subconscious saying?
Yeah,
Stop
right?
projecting.
Wow.
Stop projecting.
Some baggage.
Oh, you want to? Ouch! You are ruthless.
I think we make it a contest.
We'll play it again, and we'll play it again. It'll be a contest.
Yeah,
I love it.
So,
I wasn't ready for that.
So our listeners, you need to guess what happened that caused that audio clip.
We'll
Can-
play it again.
Can we say
too.
no Jeeps were harmed in the making of that clip? Or we can't even do that, can we?
How do you know? How do you know? You weren't there.
We're just gonna leave it open ended.
All right, we'll
let them
play it
guess.
again at the end.
And I think there should be a prize for if someone guesses it correct. Well, if multiple people get it correct, we'll pick one person randomly out of that. But
And if you're not familiar, Patty Joe is the lead event organizer, has been for many, many years. So
yes,
that's who we were talking with at that time. We'll play it again towards the end, but you're going to want to definitely get your suggestions submitted to Jeffrey. Ryan, you were telling us about your event before I rudely interrupted you.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Experience.
So we back rode it all the way into Butler.
Well, it's sometimes I like to, make sure that I hammer home a point for you guys, or make sure I thoroughly, introduce you and set the stage for how much I appreciate what you bring to the table.
Or Ryan,
for sure.
So if you haven't figured out, Ryan,
what's the question? I forgot. What's going on?
Neil's really good at interrupting, so we're gonna try it
I'm
again.
actually a very good listener, just so you know.
He is a good listener after he's done interrupting you the first 30 times.
No problem.
Interesting.
No problem.
Interesting.
It'll happen a couple more times during this story too, by the way.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we roll into Butler. We stop off at our little Airbnb. I don't know, 15 minutes up the road. Super easy to get to Butler for the event. Well, actually at the campground. We pulled in, and honestly, it was almost borderline overwhelming. Like if you as a first time attendee, not even having a Jeep there, but as a first time attendee, I would say when you pull in and all you see for miles and miles and miles is Jeeps, you're like, oh my god, like
did Hunter lose his mind?
Lost his mind.
Oh my god, I joined a cult.
Yeah,
that's
for sure. And so I texted with Neil on the way over. We stopped for lunch. Had to feed the little gremlin. He's always hungry, so we stopped for lunch. And then all of a sudden, Neil starts texting me like, "Hey man, like where are you at? Like what you have to be in Butler at 3:00. Like we've got to."
I wasn't messing around.
Well,
ish. Turns out it's actually 5:00, but we'll get to that part of the story.
11 years I've been doing this.
We made
know
things
what's up
happen.
at this point.
Yeah, it actually worked out in our benefit, and I'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
But we drop off our stuff. We go into town. We're going to the campground. We park in like the vastness of a Jeep community, and for as far as you can see, it's Jeeps, and it's not just JKs and JLUs. It's M30.
Everything.
It's everything. It's
Sure.
47 Willies. It's everything. And we promptly parked. We boogied over to the tent. We looked at the swamp donkey in its pristine nature and its natural habitat, and it was
natural habitat as a show vehicle.
As a show vehicle, yeah. As a show pony.
What it told us it wanted to be.
Yep, that's the Jeep told us what she wanted to do, and we walked literally 3 tents in, grabbed the Jeep, and we motored all the way over to Butler to get in line for the Jeep invasion. So we didn't even have a chance to walk around at first glance in any distance at all. We literally walked in, grabbed the keys, walked out. And we motor over to Butler, and we grab Davey. He hops in the front seat, so my wife and my son are in the back seat, and we're motoring around Butler trying to figure out, like, we're very early. There's no signs. The streets are barely blocked off, and we kind of navigate through that process, park near a hotel, and we were able to slide kind of right in at minute 2 of vendor opening for us to get into the Jeep invasion. And
nice.
Then it just like, fireworks going off. I mean, Jeep after Jeep after Jeep. The Epic Willie guys showed up. What a story that is in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Davey's flying the drone. My wife and my son and I are kind of talking about the donkey and our experience and, what's in there, what's going on. And,
Sure.
And it was, my son's reading a comic book in the back, answering questions about it. Like, yeah, it's a 78 CJ. It's gonna be mine. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it for my dad in 10 years. And we fired it up a couple of times, let the dragon breathe a little bit, and
That's
it was
Eagles screamed.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing experience. A lot of questions, a lot of commentary, a lot of folks commenting on just the stance and the overall, like, the process that we went through and how diligent we were in getting things done. But we could walk as far as we wanted. We never ran out of Jeeps.
Yes.
We never ever ran out of Jeeps, and they did a great job, hosting the event, lining everything up, making sure everybody kind of navigated. And then it was kind of, once everybody was parked, it was just person after person after person just walking through, and we were walking around for a while. It's like probably 8:00, and if you walk to the end of the strip where the vehicles were parked, you could still see Jeeps trying to get into town.
Yes.
Like, it was such an amazing, like, just, I mean, it was an unbelievable event. Super fun. We really, really enjoyed it.
So, because there's only like 3 people who actually listen to us, I'll reveal my secrets to the process. So there's 2 things that I've learned over the years, and I'm not a big invasion guy, despite my gregarious nature in online and that kind of persona, I don't love that huge crowd downtown, honestly.
It's shoulder to shoulder.
It's shoulder to shoulder, and so I can do it in little bits. And so I always appreciate when our listeners, our viewers, or people, our customers do see me downtown, and I have a positive interaction. But it's not like I don't desire to tailgate. There are people who go to that invasion.
Oh, it's no doubt
prepped and ready to like tailgate out of the back of their Jeep and have
they're tuned up.
They're tuned up. They're in a full party mode.
Yep.
So here's my two piece on the evasion. One, you have to leave early.
Yep.
We
shut the gap.
And well, no, not leave early from the event, but you have to leave early to get to the event. To get to the event, as folks who have been attending for years and years and years, there is a time where everyone will start leaving an exodus of the grounds at once.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in that exodus, you are late.
Yes.
And you are not going to get there. The number one criticisms that I hear from people regarding the invasion are the people who are caught in the masses who are trying to get in at the end, right? They're going, well, it took me 2 hours to park. Yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? I do.
And it doesn't help. It's usually hot. Your Jeep's hot. There's very little air conditioning or air moving, and you're sitting in lines, and all these cars or Jeeps are running, and it just builds heat.
Yes.
It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon too. On a Friday afternoon, you got folks trying to get out of the city because that's a relatively. I mean, it's not a small city, but it's not a huge city.
Right.
But for that area, it's relatively large.
Sure.
So you've got a ton of folks just getting out of their work day.
Yep.
Trying to get out of the city.
And suddenly there's Jeeps everywhere.
Suddenly there's tens of thousands of people
it's just a
who
bunch
want
of bees
to go
humming around.
downtown Butler. You know what I mean? Which is not really advantageous for that level of influx.
Yep.
Right. And so the value of getting there early. The secondary is if you do get caught in the exodus, I have the most beautiful back roads way that if on a normal day it would take twice as long to get into Butler.
Yes.
However, because you're sitting in line, because all the other vehicles are sitting in line on the main thoroughfare, I take this most winding, beautiful, serene ride through Butler County. I believe it's Butler County.
Yeah, it's county.
Country roads, you know what I mean? And you actually have these roads that rise up really high in the hills, and you can actually look down and you see everybody down 422 backed up, and then it dips down into a valley, and everybody's waving because you're in the country,
Yep.
That's my ticket into town if you're trying to avoid that big long line. Now, if you want to park downtown in a reasonable parking spot, you have to get in the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you have to beat the line.
We
right?
took a similar trail. We took 422 at 70 miles an hour in the Swamp Donkey and just let it hunt. We did. We let it hunt. It was just absolutely surreal.
Isn't that awesome?
It was fun.
Isn't that awesome? So you have the downtown invasion is open to the public. Totally a community-based event. There will be Jeepers and non-Jeepers alike. Lots of food. I commend the businesses downtown Butler because they were creatively outside, equally selling soft pretzels and popcorn and drinks and playing games with people. So, I mean, kudos to them for making it a positive experience, because I certainly know a number of small towns that don't want big events right out front of their storefront.
Yep.
And this is a big event. I mean, I don't know the official number, but the number I was hearing was 15,000 people attended it this year.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, my last experience with it, every side street, you name it, has got a Jeep on it.
Yeah.
I counted 12,436 Jeeps when I was going through there.
Oh,
Is what I
really?
found. Yeah,
Did
man.
you have a little clicker?
It was a lot, man. It was a lot.
I'm sure.
Nice.
It was a lot.
Nice. I'd like to hear that data compared to hunters.
1 billion.
Yeah.
Hunters
Totes.
assume there's 1 billion.
Yes. Totes. Makes perfect sense. And how was your wife's experience as she herself was really getting into the Jeep life, right? So
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
ultimately, she's gotten pretty invested through this process.
Yep.
With you, with us, and we
For sure.
appreciate that. But there's something different at an ownership level when I can really see a customer's family become to really reap what they have sown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was her experience? I'm certain you guys talked about that.
I think it probably sums it up as like Jeep hair don't care.
Okay.
We rode across in the JK. She had a ball cap on. It probably flew off 9 times on the way home, and she's just a tremendous sport about it. She's she's all in. She knows enough through osmosis, and knows enough of you guys personally to understand what we've done, where it was, how far we've come with the Jeep, and she was in the tent working with you guys, like selling crawlovers.
Yes,
she was. And I think for us, it's we talk about it all the time, right? We talk about the Jeep isn't just a project that we spend a bunch of money on. It's the opportunity to get to know you guys and work with you guys very closely, and it's an intimate relationship in that it's everything. It's not just building a Jeep; it's all things personal too, right?
Sure.
So it's she's invested. She actually suggested that we take the back roads home as well. So what would have taken us an hour and 35 minutes in the JK took us 2 hours and 20 minutes. Small town Pennsylvania, and small town Ohio. Just meandering our way back and not being on anybody else's time
This
clock.
was Sunday,
This was Sunday.
Right.
That's fine.
This was Sunday.
Right.
But the event itself, we 7-year-old, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to keep them entertained.
Sure.
They kind of wind out, standing around for too long. So we kind of did a good job balancing. Like I would take him for an hour and we'd go walk around different events, different things that were happening,
and
different tables and exhibitors and
sure.
food. And I have to share this story. We went to one of the trail rated guys. They had trail rated badges, and they have them for everything, right?
Sure.
Sasquatch rated,
Sure.
fly fishing rated, and my son, who's 7, grabbed a trail rated emoji. It was a poop emoji, and he looked at me, and it was just me and him. He looked at me, and he goes, "Hey, Dad, look, this one's shitbox rated," and he said it out loud. And I looked at him, and I was like, he goes, "Well, it's just me and you joking around, right, Dad? I can say it when it's just me and you joking around." I'm like,
Oh God!
I'm like,
oh God!
I don't know.
Danger.
I don't know.
Danger! My 7-year-old.
I don't know that. I didn't read the dad guide for this. Like, I'm looking in the book. Like, what do I say here? And so, no less than 4 more times, he said, "Hey, Dad, remember that trail rated beds that shed shitbox?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like, you got to stop. Like, we're going back to the tent." And so I grabbed Julie when we get back to the tent. And I said, "Hey, funny story. He had this,
Yeah, he read this. Right.
He read this, but he said shitbox rated." And we laughed. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Ryan, what'd you do?" I go, "What?" I laughed. As any good dad would do. Like I laughed.
God.
Yeah, I'm like, and so, he's the kind of kid that immediately outed himself. Like I shared the story. 30 seconds later, he goes, "Mom, you're never going to believe the trail rated badge I found.
Yeah.
It said shitbox rated." I'm like, "Dude." Like, you got to, brake pedal and gas. But for us, we were all in it. I mean, we loved it. Hunter was wiped out by the end of the day. It's unique. He hasn't slept in a vehicle since he was probably 2 years old.
Sure.
He's just not a kid that likes to sleep in a car. When he gets in the green Jeep, that purr, he puts his arms in the back and just
out cold,
like
right?
Yeah, I got a picture of him in the most awkward position ever.
Yes,
and
twisted
said
up
I
like
would
a
have been
pretzel.
paralyzed.
Yeah,
Done.
my neck would have never straightened out
No.
again. I couldn't do it if I tried.
I would have had to call the doctor from the vehicle and just take me right to the hospital.
100%.
Yeah.
So my wife, to sum it all up, I guess, my wife is the ultimate supporter. When we bought the JK, she said, "You never get to tell anybody that I'm a bad wife." And I was like, "Well, I don't.
I wouldn't tell them anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell them anyways because you're not a bad wife, right?" Like,
Yeah.
so we laugh often. Like, "What are you doing today? Are you grabbing the checkbook before you leave for Simpson?" Like, what like it's a full pat down. Like, what's in your pocket?
That's right. Now I am going to out you because I had a fantastic opportunity to get to know your wife a little better.
She's a pistol, man.
As she is. She's my type of people, right?
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
kind of like my wife,
Yep.
right? They're fiery and strong, yet supportive and warm in that process, But she made sure to share with me a particular holiday that you guys supported early on in your relationship, and I understand that you may still be atoning for that. Do you want to out yourself, or do you want me to share about Enorica?
So it's a pretty great story, actually. There were moments when we first met where
There was some kismet. There was some serendipity.
Yeah, it was very serendipitous. So when I first met Julie, it was at a Halloween party at a bar. I was, of course, a hungry hippo. Orange. This is where it all started, man. This is where it all started.
You were dressed up like a hungry hippo.
100%.
That is awesome.
Next time I come, I'll send you guys some pictures. Probably
I love
not.
it. I love it.
But me and
I'll wait for it.
Me
No,
and
I
4
won't.
buddies dressed up as hungry hippos made out of garbage cans. We wore them on our heads, decked in orange, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
And so this was like at near around Halloween, obviously. We chit-chatted for, 3 or 4 hours. I'm probably one of the sharpest tool in the shed as it comes to dating. So I was like, well, my buddies are leaving.
Deuces.
Yeah, we had this great conversation for hours and hours and hours. And I said, hey, we're going to go to another bar. And she's like, okay, you're not going to ask my phone number or anything. And I was like, well, I'm wearing a freaking garbage can.
Just as hungry
so I'm starting to think about, like, what's wrong with her that she's interested in a guy wearing a garbage can? How many cats do you have? Like, the whole, like, everything's running through my mind. So fast forward, we exchange phone numbers.
Yes.
She actually knows a good friend of mine's wife. We connected through that. I had tickets to a jump back ball down in Cleveland. My friend was helping me trying to find a date because I'm not that great at that. So, my friend actually was talking to Julie about going, and she couldn't go.
Unbeknownst to you, right? That's what's really valuable. That's that kismet that I was talking about. So you have this acquaintance who's trying to find you a use for this ticket.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying to, because you're so undesirable.
Inadequate.
Because you're in a garbage can.
You're hiding in the corner of Oscar the Grouch in your garbage can.
I never talked to anybody or anything.
And they're trying to find you a use for this ticket. Unbeknownst to you, they're actually talking to this girl who you
I'm also talking to.
Who you're also talking to, completely unrelated.
Yep. So fast forward, we engage in some very witty banter via Facebook Messenger, or what kids call Facebook Mess, FB Mess. And we're chit-chatting.
Is it still FB or is it Meta now?
I think it's just Messenger now.
It's just Messenger. It's just mess.
I think it's just mess.
Messy.
So we're engaged in this very, very, very witty conversation, and I had recently purchased a home in beautiful Parma at the time. I lived downtown. I bought this house. It was more of a flip house. Was going to make a couple $10,000 on it, hopefully. Kind of roll it under the next house. We chatted. She's like, hey, we should get together for coffee, lunch. Let's go for cocktails, dinner, or whatever. And
what did you do, Ryan? What did you do? You just ghosted her.
Well,
you ghosted her. You ghosted?
I kind of remember it differently.
What do you remember? Because I was made on
I was
impression.
so deep in a remodel.
I was distracted.
I was distracted. Scott, thank you very much. And unfortunately, there was like
in the dating world, that means you ghosted her.
You ghosted her.
By today's standards, yes, I ghosted her. This was a long time ago. So unfortunately, fortunately for me, my wife is.
This was 8 years ago.
So our 10-year wedding anniversary is coming up in November.
Oh, okay. So
this
11
is 12.
years. Okay.
Yeah, this is 11 years.
Yeah.
So, thankfully, I have a wife who is strong.
Yes.
She knows what she needs. She tells me what she needs. Persistent.
Right.
And she said, "Look, asshole. if you're not interested, it's cool. I've got plenty of options."
Yes.
And I was like, "Damn." I was trying to fix a bathroom, but
let me put the sink down and then let's end your needs.
Yeah. So I, it was a week-ish.
7 days.
7 days.
Right. It's like the 7 days.
7 days of Ignorica. Jules, thanks for sharing the story. I really appreciate it. Probably won't come back to this event anymore. But so,
zero out of 5 stars rated.
Zero chance I come back. So we reconnect. I apologize for my
remodel.
Better remodel your personality.
Yeah. Turns out we sold that house. She's like, I'm not living in Parma. So she already had a house in Lakewood. But anyways, we reconnect. We go to dinner. Our first date was at Thai Fun. Second date, I was like, we're gonna schedule third and fourth date. Like,
sure, I'm gonna marry this girl.
I'm gonna marry this. Like, super awesome, hilarious, very witty, way smarter than I am. And so when I got ready to propose to her 1 year later, because I was like, I'm all in. This chick is awesome. The week building up to the day that I actually asked her to marry me, I delivered presents to her office every single day for this Ignorica event. And it was by design, it was Victoria's Secret boxes that weren't necessarily Victoria's Secret things, but I wanted that process to be very, very boisterous and over the top.
Yes.
So flowers every day for 7 days, and a gift every day for 7 days.
You're setting the bar pretty high there, man.
Yeah. Listen,
how's your anniversaries go now?
Expensive. Hey, babe, I just bought you a third Jeep, by the way.
That's not perception of choice conversation.
Yeah, right. That's right. So, the very last day, I rent the top of the Terminal Tower in Cleveland out. I know a friend who knows a friend who allows us access to the top, where I ultimately asked her to marry me. We went to the place that we met afterwards. We went to Thai Fun. We had our friends meet us up for dinner or for cocktails afterwards. and I think we won like $1,000 at the casino that night too. So it was,
Wow.
an amazing.
But did you wear
amazing
the garbage can?
on my wedding day? I did, yes. Yeah. It didn't fit the same way it fit when I first met her.
Oh, buddy.
So, but yeah, we sold the house in Parma, made a couple bucks off that place, moved into the house in Lakewood for a year and a half or so, and then ultimately bought our house in Kirtland.
Excellent.
Closer
Very
to
nice.
her
It's been so nice to get to know you guys more personally.
Yeah, it's been great on
And-
my end too.
0 out of 5 stars. What I think is funny is how many people who listen to our program, who engage with the business, who enjoy the personalities and the characters, the Italian stallion, the mad scientist, getting to know you better.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I obviously what bore American Hustle into the world is this idea about rising above mediocrity,
Yep.
really, right? And the fact that I've had customers or people of the community come to us before and go, "It must be nice," right? Or this perception that, oh, this person must be independently wealthy or have this crazy amount of money, or some golden spoon or platter has been served upon them. And I was subjected to that. Oh, I wish my daddy would buy me blah blah blah. I started this company I was 22, and that was just blood, sweat, and tears from there on out. And ultimately, what I think the value of getting in front of people, both in the Jeep community, but then globally through the podcast, is getting to know us as human beings and go, hey, we're just hardworking people like anybody else, right? We're just here to learn and polish our arts and crafts, sharpen our axe per
Don't give up.
wood choppers, right? And I'm just ultimately too dumb to ever give up at anything.
And it's choice.
Sure.
Well, we all have it. We all have the
Yeah.
opportunity to make those decisions.
and
Choice
some
and priorities.
That's right.
And so many people I know that they say, "Oh, I'd like to do that, but I can't for blah,
Blah, blah, blah.
reason."
Right?
Not
They
with that
create their own
attitude.
obstacles.
And you're never going to get
not
it
with that
done.
attitude. My buddy says that all the time. Not with that attitude. You can't do it, then you won't.
Yep.
Yes.
And you got to be a little bit dumb and just start.
That's right. Just
and
start.
as the things keep kicking you as
You
you're
just
down,
can't stay down.
you just keep getting back up.
Hey Neil, I got this '78 Renegade. I've got these electrical problems. I think it's going to be an awesome project, but I'm just kind of at this first hurdle. What do you think? And he said, I can hear you smiling through the phone, man. Like you are over the moon about this Jeep, and it turns out it's a piece of crap, but it isn't anymore. And you have to be curious, right? Ted Lasso says it all the time. Like, be curious.
And so many people won't see that through either.
Yeah.
The first obstacle that shuts them down, and they stop. And I've been there in my life, and you get nothing but negativity out of that. You just got to be like, okay, how do I figure out this problem, adapt,
Blissful ignorance.
fix it? Well, that helps.
Conscious effort.
Yes.
The crazy part for our experience and our journey for the Swamp Donkey was like how many people in my friend base, beyond you guys, which I affectionately term as friends now as well, whether you like it or not.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry. Yeah.
0 out of 5 star rating.
Ryan gets a half star as a customer and friend. But I've got 10, 12, 14 friends that are asking me like, hey, is that green Jeep done yet? Like my aunt, my uncle, my sister, my mom, like, hey, what's going on with that green Jeep? Like people genuinely want to know what are you guys doing and what's the outcome of the Jeep? And the outcome is I made 3 more friends.
Sure.
And I got a really sweet Jeep afterwards, right? Like
Yeah.
that wasn't number 1 though.
Sure.
That became number 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what I think is really interesting, and this kind of goes back to Bantam, you actually make people happy with your Jeep. You'll hear it on a number of the videos that I talk about. And I think that's one of my favorite things about cool vehicles. And I think Scott and I are affected with collecting vehicles and unusual ones and cool ones and whatnot. And it's not only are we happy through the process and the journey, but then when we actually get out there and we use them, we can use them for good. And people looking in on the situation, so long as we approach it with authenticity, they're happy too.
It's magnetic.
It's magnetic,
Yeah,
right?
it is,
And you can show off the Jeep and you can say, hey, sit in my, jump up in Chuck Norris, climb through Old Blue, take somebody out for a ride in the limo.
Screaming Eagle.
Whatever, right? And people will gravitate towards that.
Well, and so many people I just don't understand the car thing. It's a car thing on the surface.
Sure.
It's a person
It
thing.
starts as a car thing.
Yeah, it's actually for people and for interactions and relationships. That's what the car just is, the catalyst to get you there.
And
That's
I think that is the best way to circle back to Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival is that I heard you say there are Jeeps everywhere from the 40s through present day, and we are there in a unified manner because we appreciate what the brand brings to the table. So whether I'm there to camp, whether I'm there to be a business and be a vendor,
a historian,
a restoration or a reenactor, or I'm somebody who wants to go out on the trails, we're all unified in a process. And I think that that's such a cool piece, and that's what I encourage people to approach Bantam as. This idea that this is something for the greater good of the community, and you just happen to get to play with Jeeps in the process.
It's a great common interest, right? It kind of takes some walls down. If you're a person that doesn't enjoy being able to interact with a lot of folks, like you have commonality with that at the very bare minimum. That person with that Jeep product or project or whatever you're working on, like that's the cool part. Like,
and then there's even people that go to Bantam not for Jeeps, that aren't there for Jeeps. They're there for the history.
Sure.
The history of Jeep itself and how it was in the wars and everything like that.
I found it very significance to Butler as well.
Correct.
Yeah. I found it more difficult to not be as enthusiastic as I normally am about the Spawn Talkie. I found it more difficult. My wife is more reserved and she's quieter than I am when it comes to like, hey, you know.
Oh, is she? Oh, somebody's quieter than you?
Yeah.
Is that
never
No.
know? I know everybody's thinking like, oh my gosh, you must talk a lot. Like, no, actually, it's me.
Oh, somebody's competed with Neil.
Yeah, I literally sat back and like you said at one time, like, hey man, they don't need to know the whole story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean?
Would you like
I found it more difficult.
my
to go,
book?
Yeah, I'm kind of like lurking in the background, like, oh, if somebody stops by, I'm gonna pounce on them and tell them everything I know about my Jeep, and you know,
here, sit through this 3-hour lecture of how this Jeep came to the
So, what happened was,
I'm not gonna lie. The first couple people,
I've got PowerPoint presentations.
I'm not gonna lie. The first couple people,
I know what he was gonna say.
The first couple, you opened the door. Ryan was like leaned back on Jeff's Gladiator.
I was
And a
like,
couple people,
arms back on the back.
couple people just wanted to like quietly look at the Jeep, and Ryan swooped in like the Phantom of the Opera. Hey, what do you guys want to know? What do you want to know about the Jeep? Yeah, do you have any questions?
And suddenly the people knew what gazelles feel
They're like,
kinda
no. They're like, I don't have any questions.
That is what a gazelle feels like. They were like,
I had to walk away, take a couple of breaths, like, okay.
They're looking for their out guy.
do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. Wait for them to ask me a question first. Like, go back to bare basics. Like, it is contagious. It is fun. It is
oh my
magnetic.
gosh,
and,
yes.
you know, interacting with you guys while you're there. You guys are talking to folks that are coming up, stopping, and talking to you guys all the time. And I'm like,
So
look at that green Jeep, guys.
I'm going to give you a little tip for as you're going to future shows with this.
Take a breath.
No, you don't have to take a breath. Give them a couple seconds to start looking, and then just go, oh yeah, that's a full custom build, and just wait. They will immediately start asking you questions.
I prefer verbal diarrhea in lieu of that process. Blah, 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 blah,
Well, that
blah,
happens
AMC
too,
360,
Yep.
Good idea.
I've been doing this a lot of years, and I just I appreciate your guys' enthusiasm. A lot of the interesting things that happen at our booth happen every single year.
Yep.
And so, whether it's been customers of the past coming to join us at the booth, I think that's what I appreciate the most about what this company has brought to the table. If you are unaware of the event, and again, I mentioned I've been doing this 11 years with the particular event and 10-year sponsor, we are at the foremost front of the property. So when you walk in, you're going to see
You can't miss it.
our family hodgepodge of cool Jeeps and products that we have brought for you to engage in. And at this point in time, I derive the most pleasure in a voyeuristic manner of watching people interact with Ryan, with the Jeeps, with Jeffrey. When you come up and you couldn't give a fig about me, but you are just thrilled to meet Jeffrey in person, I just love what that means that we've done for the individuals who build this business. And, people come up and go, oh, where's the mad scientist? I'm thinking, Well, between him and Greg, our lead performance mechanic, they're like hermits. They don't actually want to go out into the sun. They don't.
No, my preferred method is to put the vehicle out there on display and then go back into the shadows and just observe.
And just lurk.
Yes. And that, and ultimately, people will ask that and will say, you know what, those guys build amazing Jeeps. They have been the lifeblood of this.
We should do that
going
next year.
forefront.
We should have the mad scientists come down with us, but hide somewhere.
Just a reveal.
Just hide.
And they have to see if they can find him.
Can we just do like a cutout and move him periodically?
Yeah, where's
They
Doc?
need it.
Where's Doc?
Yeah.
Where's Doc? But
Get a selfie with Doc. Good luck.
If you find him, let us know where he's at.
But realistically, people ask, where are they at? And I want to make sure that I take this opportunity and say, for many years, they trudged through the mud with me, sleeping in derelict campers and on the ground in tents and in the trailers, showering in the faucets in the field of Bantam.
It's very cold water, in case you wonder.
We had a beautiful Airbnb.
The generators, ambiance in the
The
background.
generators.
His first experience was too good.
Hammer
It's kind of
away.
like Davey. The first time Davey went down and stayed in that camper. His
Yeah,
first
yes.
time.
Didn't
His first
trudge.
real camping trip.
Yes, is too good. And I always say, like, those guys did that. They helped put us where we're at today. And they are more than happy to stay home with their families, to stay within their routine schedules,
Have warm water in your shower.
and
Have water at all.
That too.
and not be disrupted and be able to get back in on Monday or Tuesday and jump right back into their processes. So
And we got a lot of comments I'm going to try to catch up on quick. John Graber had said morning from Walla Walla,
hey,
Washington.
good morning, John.
There was a couple comments on guesses as to that audio. I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or wrong, but I am going to read the comments because I thought they were hilarious.
Okay.
Was she reporting a stolen golf cart?
Ah.
And that was from Chuck, and then Darla at the same time had posted she found the stolen golf cart.
And if you're not familiar with that, we had a great opportunity where Jeffrey and the Savage did end up in Patty Joe's, the event organizer's golf cart.
Procured a golf cart.
Procured a golf cart.
We legally borrowed it.
And I gotta say, honestly, a big shout out to them because they did allow us to do that, and we were able to get footage
Yes.
and get around the event in an expeditious manner.
Uh,
They did have some fun with it while they had it, though, and that's what's valuable
we
to that
absolutely
storyline.
did. There was a Bantam selfie checkpoint where you would drive your Jeep and park on this little mound and take a selfie with a sign. As we were passing it with the golf cart, I hit the brakes and went, "Davey, did you read that?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "That was a selfie spot. We should take a picture." He goes, "The golf cart says Patty Joe on it." We're doing this.
Yes.
We turned around and we took a selfie with Patty Joe's golf cart on the Bantam selfie spot, posted that to Facebook.
Fantastic.
Lots of fun. Additionally, some other comments that came through.
Hopefully
was,
more on Ignorica.
No. But Darla did say we don't collect them. They find us when we were talking about collecting
That's
Jeeps.
true.
Yes.
And then she also said we should make a cardboard cutout of Scott, put it everywhere, and then find the real mad scientist.
Oh my God! I have never
I
been
really-
so
I really like this
motivated
idea.
in my life
I really, really like this idea.
to make life-size cutouts of Scott
and just post them
and
up
just
everywhere.
post them up like
put them
out,
on a trail in the middle
out
of
on the trail.
just a doc,
like,
just a doc head.
Oh my
I like
God.
this a lot.
Darla, you might have just changed the course of SFJ 4x4 history forever.
The face.
The face of Doc.
This will be great.
Oh my goodness. I pay for so much real estate around Bantam. I'm going to have his face everywhere.
It's going to be on the Jeep Corral.
I'm just changing our logo next year to Scott's face. Just gonna change-
I don't know that Scott likes this idea.
I don't care. That's the beauty of our relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Noticing a
fantastic.
trend.
Yes. Oh my God. On that note, I did really appreciate our Patreons got some of their care packages and saw their stickers.
Yes.
And they posted those to social media, and everybody loves how Doc looks, and they think I look too serious. So,
And we did have a nice little fun surprise. If you were a Patreon and came to Bantam, you got an extra special gift from us. So
yes, and on that note, I was actually going through as I move out of as we liquidate our Pennsylvania property and we move out. I found some keepsakes, and it was kind of fun to see what Peterson's 4-wheel drive, and Scott will certainly appreciate this, did something very similar many years ago, and it was really neat to come across that and go, hey, you know what? We did something ish like that for our Patreons, and how that made an impact on me, you know, 15, 20 years ago. Hopefully that will make an impact on our supporters as well going forward.
Yes.
And we hope that you too might join us on the Patreon, because you might be able to collect these kind of cool keepsakes that were a special gift to those supporters.
Yes.
If you just came by our booth and referenced that you had listened to us, or that you are a good listener follower, which we appreciate. We met so many of you at the event, which was awesome. You would know that we had free coffee, charcuterie boards. We
Yep.
were fancy. We were upchurching that, fresh bagels. And so we were trying to offer you, some refreshments at the show to make it a value-added experience for you. And obviously a number of folks grabbed shirts in support of the podcast and the business as a whole. Really, really appreciate that support. And those of you who came and shared that you were, an avid podcast listener, and then shared your story about how you're building or what you've gleaned from listening to us, please understand, we can picture you. We can hear that story that you shared with us, the project that you're endeavoring into. We wish you the best of luck. And there was quite a few of you, and understand that you are valued and appreciated for sharing with us what your goals in your Jeep community and our Jeep community and your Jeep is. That was one of the coolest pieces for me at this point. Again, I've done the Jeep stuff. I've sold the parts. I've done the how-tos. At this point, I love seeing folks like Ryan and Jeffrey get this notoriety, and hearing you, our listeners' story, and how the Jeep life has affected you.
I mean, honestly, I think one of the biggest things that I enjoyed the most about Bantam this year was last year we had spent all the time telling everybody about this podcast and that it was a new podcast at that time.
Yep.
This year, everybody told us about the podcast, and that was really exciting to me. But I also, not just that, but how they're listening, where they're listening, all the different ways. We had truck drivers that, that's what we listen to while we're on the road. We had people that talked about being in the office or scheduling fake meetings like we've heard in the comments here. It was just really fun and exciting to see all of our listeners actually coming to meet us.
Oh, yeah. Welders and other shops that turn on the live and listen in the background or
Yep.
play the podcast. Landscapers who put it in, they download the segments and listen to it while they're mowing and doing landscape. Such cool stories, and then each one of their Jeep experiences. So we appreciate you guys.
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, we're gonna transition to play this game a little bit, right?
That's right.
Okay. So if you had joined us 2 weeks ago, prior to the great blackout of 2023,
You get to be mad scientist.
I got to start from the beginning.
you have to start from the beginning.
You missed that part in the dark last week.
Biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
I like playing from the back, anyways.
Yeah.
I like starting from the
But
from
there's
the beginning.
lots of different options over here.
I'm going to
Where,
reserve
be-
comment.
Before Joe Brilla chimes back in with a euphemism joke.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Just because we're ahead doesn't mean anything. We
That's-
might get stuck or
Yeah,
roll off a
you could
cliff.
roll off a
Those
cliff
of you
and
who
end up
are
way back.
listening who may not be familiar, Jeffrey, 2 segments ago, using his wife's laser machine, made a game board that we are beta testing on ourselves, but on air with you as well. It's a very cool SFJ 4x4.
And in true Jeff fashion, it's challenging.
It is challenging. There are upgrade cards. There's a bunch of different little rules like that. There's 4 chips that are logos and our faces engraved into them via the laser engraver. And we were trugging along. I was doing pretty good. I was lockers, 40s and tons equipped.
I think I
which is
got
true to-
cheated out of a card somewhere.
I think
but
you did
just
too,
true
but
to
I don't remember
form.
what it was.
I have a winch. I feel like I had lockers, but I could be wrong.
Jeff doesn't actually know. He was kind of.
How'd
kept
you
trying to
get
be
3
like-
cards?
Well,
He kept. Well, yeah,
He
oh,
created the
yeah.
game.
Oh yeah, he's got 3
Here,
cards.
you can have the lockers card.
Oh,
Does that make you feel better?
I think I had that before, so I do.
Well, no, I know I did at one point because you joked about the fact that I don't actually have lockers.
Yeah.
Wow, that his insecurities just came
Yeah,
out in
that
that
did.
comment. He was like, "Well,
Yeah,
I
and
remember
he's got the short
because I
tires.
felt bad."
I don't have lockers either, Jeff.
Yeah, that's okay.
So and Jeff was like, "Well, maybe we should all start again." Because I did kind of cut us short because obviously you as a listener are not able to play with us. We're having way more fun. Over here. And so we're trying to communicate that to you to the best of our ability. And Jeff was like, well, but Ryan's going to be joining us. And I was like, Ryan could start from the beginning. We've been doing this for a while. So
And Ryan, if you end up with a fancy bug deflector, you could always trade with somebody in the game, so you could end up way ahead.
Or
I'm probably taking off that.
Or just throw it
I'm
away.
probably taking
I'm
it off.
probably taking bug deflector off.
I would probably just give up the card. All right, so Ryan, you are in last place.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and roll first?
Can I roll 2 dice or no? Just one.
Just one.
Oh,
So you move 2 spaces.
Does he get a card
Does
for
everybody know
rolling
that
2?
I get to be Doc Brown. Can you see that?
Nah,
No.
that's it.
Well,
And it's
Ryan!
gone.
And he just chucked it across the studio.
I
Where
believe
is-
I rolled off a cliff.
Why did you?
That's how he feels about Scott
Yeah, I was
Brown.
gonna say,
No,
he feels about
take
Scott.
We wanted to have it
Collection.
really be, where is Mad Scientist?
Yeah, right. He's like, wow,
He's
you-
hiding.
So
you
you
get
can
a
find this
card.
face.
Oh, I get
You
a
get a
card every time I
card.
roll?
Yeah, you get a card. You have to,
fabulous.
but does he read it?
What's the card say?
Fire! You rode with Neil. Neil's Jeep caught fire again. Moved back 3 spaces. I only moved 2 spaces to begin with.
So you're back at start.
I blame Neil. I blame Neil.
So who goes next?
I'm so glad that card came out.
Are we going this way or how
Devastate.
are we
Oh
doing?
my God! No, well, it's got to go to the left.
Yep.
It's just always how it goes.
Yep.
Okay.
If you go any other way, that's like hanging the toilet paper the wrong way.
I think
You're
you're that logo.
okay. I forgot.
and then your card.
You're the OG logo.
Oh, there's 2
I'm the
cards there.
silhouette. Jeff is me.
High centered recovery needed. Lose a turn, but I have. Don't one of these undo that?
No.
No,
that sucks.
No, you
Yeah.
tried.
You lost a turn.
You lost a turn. Fire. Get
5.
the heck out of here. 4, 5.
No, nothing happens.
Oh, go
Weird.
figure.
Duck Jeep. You've been ducked. Move ahead 2 spaces.
Oh, go figure. Oh, you got
Oh, you passed the mud
You know
pit,
what?
though.
Jeffrey's Jeep
You can
gets
go
ducked
through the mud
I
most.
can go through the mud Jeep because the mud pit because I got the
Rigged.
winch.
Oh, he got ducked. Go figure.
I wasn't even going to play the
You know
game.
what?
I was just
Thanks,
going to have you
Allison,
guys
for
ban.
coming to join us so much at,
Oh,
at
yeah,
a number of the
absolutely.
event, right? And Little Waspy was there. 7 Slot Society. We saw a bunch of friends. We'll keep folks. Jerry at Amsoil, Jerry at 7 Slot, and Phil at 7 Slot. Bartak, not Bartak. Excuse me. Rockslide Engineering. I
Right.
saw those folks and said hello. But yes, thinking of the Duck Dub Jeep. I know Allison came over. She had an adventurous weekend. It is my turn, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
2.
I should get your turn. Your 2 slots.
Two.
You caught me on fire.
Gotcha. Wait. My card is food bribe. Brought SFJ team food. Move ahead 4 spaces. Well,
The
then,
food
1,
is a
2,
bigger deal
3,
than I
4.
thought it was. To
Food
get
is a
4
real
spaces.
You're
Spaces.
able to go through the rock garden if you want, so you
Oh,
can take that
heck
short.
yeah,
So
I
you're
wanna go-
you're going to use that as a space.
I'm on the rock garden, right?
Yep.
All right. That's what's up. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see.
Ooh, big 5.
Big 5. You want me to move you?
Please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here comes your card.
Damn, bug deflector. Installed bug deflector. Keep this card until used. Jeff awards you with the opportunity to trade places with another player at any time. You may use this card only once.
I think you should trade it with Jeff
Jeff's bug deflector.
because Jeff's in the lead, so you should totally trade.
You
with
know
Jeff.
what? Fortunately, at this Bantam, nobody commented on Jeff's bug deflector.
It's
I
old
harassed.
news.
It's old news.
It is. It
and
is.
I almost bought a couple to have them on retail there.
But you called it. You said nobody'd be interested this
nobody
year.
was
Last
interested,
year,
not
everybody was.
everybody, and we didn't. Not a
We
peep
need a
was
curved
said.
little guy that goes on top of it. Then we'd be all about it.
You know,
But there was actually quite a few with the amber markers in
Yep.
there. There was actually quite a few of those grills and bug deflectors.
I
that
want
had
the
amber
OG
markers.
guy with the nose that went over top.
What,
of the
remember,
street
we had a
light.
customer tell me who that's called.
Yeah, we did.
Kilroy.
Kilroy.
But
Oh,
we, need
Kilroy.
we need it to be curved because all the new bug deflectors aren't straight anymore.
No,
we're,
no,
we're
no.
worried about aerodynamics.
I did hear somebody talk about the fact that they have no cracks in their windshield because they have a bug deflector.
Mhm. Keep telling yourself that.
Oh,
Fake news.
Right? Fake news.
Yeah, I got
All
a
right,
crack.
it's
in my
your
windshield.
turn.
How does this
It's
work?
your
Je-
turn,
Jeff
unless you switch
awards
with Jeff.
awards you the
No,
opportunity.
he lost his turn. Don't give
Oh yeah,
Doc the,
oh yeah,
the
he lost
die.
his turn. You're right.
He doesn't get that. Now, wait a second. What does Ryan get to do?
At any point in the game, he can switch with whoever he
Well,
wants.
does he want to switch with you, or are you going to wait till maybe you wait?
Oh, I'm gonna wait till
Oh,
he
you
gets out
wait.
of the
Put
bug
that-
pit.
I mean, he wants to see if I
So
fall
right
off a
there.
cliff.
Yeah. He gets right here.
5. I win.
Son of a gun!
What?
Well, that was tremendously anticlimactic, folks.
Play
He
for a
rolled a
second.
5. He
Play
was
for a
5 off.
second. And you have to have exact number to win, just FYI. So.
Oh, do you?
Oh,
do you?
Tell us
Jeffrey?
that right at the end.
This
there.
is what we used to call liquid rules.
I wanna use a bug deflector now.
Here comes the bug deflector. Switch him out. Ryan's in the lead.
There it is. He won. It does say any point.
Ryan for the win on a technicality. Gosh, this was a fun time. I hope that you listening to us, being part of this process.
I got my bug deflector. I'm going to trump that
No, you
back.
don't.
Scott's trying to hide it behind his back. Where is Scott? Where is the bug deflector card? Folks, Bantam was a great time. We're going to be at more events. We want to see you there. And obviously, we'll have any number of people from the business, volunteer or employee at those events handing out stickers, have some shirts, so on and so forth. We just want to make sure that the community continues to grow and enjoy what the Jeep life means to us and to you. What were you going to say, Jeffrey?
I was going to say there's just another couple fun cards that are in here. So as we build this into an actual marketable game that listeners can buy, this one was one I thought you would enjoy. DIY. You attempted to DIY your Jeep. Your time is consumed. Move back 3 spaces, but then take another turn as a reward for trying.
Oh,
that was the
cool.
beginning of my Jeep journey on the TJ5. These blinkers don't work. What the heck is going on here? Neil, help me.
That is the truth. That is how so many come up. We'll read some of those more as they come on, and we'll keep people engaged. Don't forget to take a swing on what that audio was, and submit your guesses. Jeff, you want to play it one more time?
One more time. Yep.
That Thursday, we were basically starting over what we did on
What?
Tuesdays.
What are you doing?
I know.
What
it's following
is
me.
this?
Oh no!
What?
That was the most freak occurrence, and I could just amazing, as you couldn't tell in the authenticity of my voice. So
Oh yeah, the timing was perfect, and when we
Serendipitous.
release the full audio of that interview, you'll understand that way more as to what actually happened.
But in the meantime, send your guesses to Jeffrey,
Yes.
and we're gonna send somebody a T-shirt
Yeah.
for that, right? So whoever gets it right, if you get it right, and there's some context clues in there. I'll be honest with you.
Yes.
So if you're familiar with some prior Bantams, there are absolutely context clues in there. You could get this right. Additionally, we have again the events coming up. Toledo Jeep Festival, PA All Breeds, a bunch of more localized or regional events. So we hope to see you out there. Make sure you jump on to our events calendar. We'll be filling that out for the summer. Even if we're not going to be there, we want to spread the message to you, our listeners, and the Jeep community as a whole. We've got a lot of very cool Jeeps to build, and we thank you for trusting us with those investments. We're going to keep going through that process. Check out the new vlog-style Tech Tuesday updates. A lot of people seem to really enjoy those.
Love them.
And make sure you check out our live feeds to kind of organically show what is going on at any time inside SFJ 4x4. Until then, Jeep family, Jeep on.
Keep on.
Jeep on.